Thank you so much, everyone. Today's, I would say, is a discussion because it's going to be as interactive as possible. Uh, this is just an overview of the outline. Feel free, to stop me at any point to ask a question, seek clarification, or perhaps contribute to the discourse. We'll be looking at cryptocurrency and digital money, and then we would then move to Ponzi schemes, old wine in new bottles. Then we'll look at how all of these things happen and how you can stay safe, while making your investments or trying to put your money to where it will be productive. Now, this is what I would call the training protocol. Please feel free, have an open and receptive mindset, ask questions about anything that is unclear, take notes and key points and tips. Please participate actively, reflect on learnings and continuous practice, and as well seek guidance when required. I will then move to cryptocurrency. And I know when we talk about cryptocurrency today, a lot of people, what comes to their mind is that fraudulent coin, or that Yahoo thing. But actually, it's not like that, and that's because statistics actually indicate that crypto is not the primary use of crypto is not for fraud. So if you look at the graph, and why I'm showing this is just to give you a picture of where we are and what is happening around this space. I will start with the trading volume of crypto assets. You see that it's nearing trillions, and that's just to show you how far crypto has become accepted globally. Crypto is, in trillions of dollars now. And if you see what the figures are saying from a 2022 survey from the ACF, you see that it just says that 8% of fraud cases involve the use of cryptocurrency. What that means is that 92% of fraud cases is not as a result of crypto. So why are we weaponizing and demonizing crypto? That's just, I brought this up to just open our minds so that we can have, an open mind, we can have an open conversation and also look at it from facts and figures. Now, out of these 8%, 44% of the illicit transaction volumes are associated with sanctioned entities. What are sanctioned entities? Sanctioned entities are those entities that, certain international organizations, refer to them as people that are not compliant with AML or terrorism financing regulations. And because of that, they are sanctioned. The example is North Korea. Regardless of what transaction is sent to North Korea, nobody is monitoring anything. In fact, we have a body in the US, which is the US OFAC, Office of Asset Control, and so they seize assets that are traced to sanctioned entities or fraud. So they have named North Korea, for instance, as a sanctioned entity. Also, there are also sanctioned individuals. We call them specially designated nationals in Nigeria, for instance, where you are not permitted to do business with those people or carry out any financial transactions with those people. So they are saying that of these 8%, 44% are from sanctioned entities. And it is true because the traditional bank will not allow these people to do business, right? They only see crypto as the other alternative to doing their business. Now, I just want to also show you the top 10 crypto exchanges around the world. You have the Binance, you have the Bybit, you have the Coinbase, OKX, Upbit, BitGet, MEX, KuCoin, Gates, and Kraken. Right? Now, where are we from a sub-Saharan Africa perspective? You see the volume of crypto or the value we see. You see that Nigeria is on top with about $60 billion in terms of crypto inflows. And this is just between July 2023 and June 2024. That is closely followed by South Africa, then Kenya, and all of that. You see that across the sub-Saharan region, Nigeria tops the list for crypto transactions. Now, in terms of total crypto received by illicit address, you see that at the top of it was in 2022. And if you look at what the numbers are saying, around 2022, almost most part of the world, they were just, heavily putting up regulations against crypto, right? There was total ban, and because of that, crypto continued to grow because people will always find way to circumvent those particular protocols or those particular rules that so many countries has put in place. I'll give you an example. In China, for instance, they banned crypto at this time. Nigeria as well. Around 2021 February, there was a ban on crypto, but crypto inflows we continue to see these things, from on-chain activity. On-chain activities are activities that happen within the blockchain. Now, having kind of opened this conversation, I will then go ahead to let us know what is even this cryptocurrency we are talking about. I just want to say that I can't see your hands if they are raised, so please, moderator, you assist us in calling my attention when anybody is seeking a clarification. Thank you. All right, so I will proceed with the overview of cryptocurrency, and in this instance I'm just going to look at the three major I would say crypto phenomenon that has dominated the space recently. And one of them is Bitcoin, the other one is Ethereum, and then we'll look at stablecoins. And then I will not conclude without talking about the blockchain, so that we understand critically what blockchain is and also vis-a-vis what crypto. I will also x-ray some other cryptocurrencies that are around the space, but that will just be quite a short conversation. All right. What is cryptocurrency? So this is just a digital or virtual currency that uses cryptography. In the military those days, communication is done via cryptography. Cryptography means secured communication. For instance, I can send you a message and immediately you read that message, the message will disappear, right? It means there is a high level of encryption. Now, I can also send you a message that only you can understand, right? And nobody can stop that message from getting to you. So in the I would say medieval times, a lot of communications happened, especially military and security communications happened via cryptography. Now, but to understand the rise of this cryptocurrency, it is very, very important for us to look at the historical context, right? Now, cryptocurrency came about as a result or as a consequence of the financial crisis of 2008. In 2008, we had global, financial crisis that affected most financial institutions around the world. What happened is that people lost their money and they could no longer get access to their funds. Because of that, one man or a group of persons under the pseudonym Satoshi, he came up with a white paper. Satoshi Nakamoto is the name. So as of today, nobody knows whether it's one person or whether it's a group of persons. And that white paper was published on 31st October 2008. So in that white paper, he introduced the concept of P2P trading, meaning I can trade with you can trade with any person without any intermediary, meaning there will be nobody like a bank. The way you do your banking transactions, where you send money, your bank will look at that money, can we honor it or not? No. So as you are sending it, within seconds, the other party is receiving it. No intermediary at all. So that was his proposition. And that proposition eventually led, to the creation of the blockchain. Now, the first transaction that happened on the blockchain, right, happened on 3rd January 2009. And that was Satoshi sending 10 BTC. So when I say 10 BTC, I mean 10 Bitcoin to Halfini. Halfini is, also someone in that space. In fact, I would say a lot of people had argued that, are you sure that Halfini is not Satoshi? But before the man died, sometime in 2014, he said he was not the one. And he brought proofs to show that he was not the one. Yes, he acknowledged that Satoshi indeed emailed him, but those emails were encrypted, right? And that he is not the one. He couldn't be sending, a message to himself. And the investigators at that time, believed him. And eventually when he died, nobody can then lay flat to who is Satoshi or who is not. But here is one fun fact about crypto. The first real world transaction using Bitcoin happened on 22nd May 2010. And that was by Lazio Hanix. So this guy is a programmer in Florida. He bought two, pizzas with 10,000 worth of BTC. Today, you can imagine how much that will be worth. But that was the value he attached to Bitcoin as at then. A Bitcoin today in Naira is almost about 190 million, right? So you can imagine if you were the vendor, the pizza vendor today, you would have been, in fact, maybe you would have collected this year for yourself, because when you multiply this money, you see it's quite a lot. Now, we'll talk about digital money. Digital money, cryptocurrency is a form of digital money. Digital money are virtual currencies, right? The first instances of digital money were the DigiCash and the eGold. But then, they lacked this decentralization which cryptocurrency brought. They were still somehow regulated by central authorities or even financial institutions. And that was one of the things that led to the collapse. Perhaps if anybody could point to who is Satoshi today, it's possible that government will seize the person, and try to control the crypto space, and maybe that space would have collapsed. But again, it is a mystery. Satoshi is a mystery, and this mystery had also added, to the growth of Bitcoin. Just to also point out that Bitcoin too, one of the things that is encouraging the growth is because it is limited in supply. I mean, the maximum you can mine of Bitcoin is 21 million BTC. And as at today, about almost 20 million BTC has been mined already, with just 1 million plus, 1.1 million left to be mined. So you can see, at the point where all of this is mined, it will then lead to, the Bitcoin can even increase in value, and people will struggle to even get one. Now, I talk about the other one, which is, Ethereum. What is Ethereum? Ethereum came about in 2015 as a result of, one man known as Vitalik Buterin. Unlike Bitcoin, nobody knows who is the inventor, but Ethereum we know. Now, what was he trying to achieve? He said, okay, we understand that Bitcoin runs on blockchain. Ethereum is not a cryptocurrency. Let me put it that way. Ethereum is the chain for Ether. The crypto that we are calling Ethereum is not Ethereum. Ethereum is the blockchain. It's not like saying blockchain. Blockchain is, the chain where Bitcoin runs. So Ethereum, or where some of these tokens or coins run, Ethereum is the chain. Ether is the coin. I don't know if it is clear. So now he developed the idea of smart contract. Smart contract meaning how can we make this binding? Remember, there are no intermediaries. Because there are no intermediaries, people are bound to do what? Default. For instance, if you have a crypto to sell, I have a crypto to buy, and then you send to me, I can decide that I did not receive. Okay? So he then said, can we do some arrangement where these agreements will be self-executory, where these agreements will be decentralized, where they will be mutable, where they will be transparent and it's secure, such that nobody can say no. In fact, because of the developments in this Ethereum, a lot of companies have keyed into this technology, and that was why you see Ether continue to grow in terms of prices. I remember sometime in 2020, yes, I used to hold about 4 Ethereum. As at then, it was 67,000 naira. I was holding 4. Okay, so but then I was working in law enforcement, and all of a sudden, central bank said no more. Bank should freeze any account. I said, my salary account, let them not freeze it. So I sold off. In fact, the price came down to about 50,000. I sold at a loss, right? And today, Ethereum is almost about 5 million for each one. So imagine, I continue to hold on to my Ether, right? Today, I will be maybe a millionaire, right? So this is how some of these things work. So there are also applications like the loan apps. that run using this Ethereum network. And what they do is that once you agree that, these things, is going to be like this, at that particular time, it will just go to your, It will just go to your balance and take the funds. Also, the NFTs today of this world, they are also run on this chain, on this Ethereum chain. So the Ethereum became like a basis for other tokens, to come into the discussion. So I think I've been able to summarize that they are self-executory, they are decentralized, they are immutable, they are transparent, meaning everybody can see it. Just imagine, where everybody can see all the transactions happening across the banks in Nigeria. You see that fraud will reduce because as you do it, everybody will see it. So that's the way the blockchain works. So with that, I'll then talk about stablecoins. This is a very important discussion at this point because, stablecoins is the global discourse today. In fact, just about a week or two ago in the US, they enacted what we call the Genius Act. I don't know how many of us know about it. The Genius Act is specifically to regulate stablecoins. What are stablecoins? Stablecoins are cryptocurrencies that are pegged to the dollar, meaning their values is equivalent to the value of $1. Some people are also trying to develop certain cryptocurrencies that will be pegged to the euro, and maybe naira and some other things like that. These stablecoins, let me tell you why it's critical for every meaningful government. Because they are pegged to the dollar, people do not see the need to go to CBN to buy dollar. They will go to, a crypto exchange or whoever is selling USDT, for instance, which is owned by Tether, or USDC, which is owned by Circle in collaboration with Coinbase. They would rather go there, get it, and make their payment. In fact, people settle invoices using stablecoins. And when I say stablecoins, the popular ones, I mean USDT, USDC, right? They are very popular. In Nigeria as well, following the fall of, the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, some group of persons made up of some banks and private individuals came about the idea of C-Naira. C-Naira means compliant Naira. And they've been able to get CBN buy. They've also been able to get SEC buy on this initiative. So what they want to do is also to have a stable currency that will be pegged to the Naira, such that one of that CNGN will be equal to 1 Naira. But the truth is, are people going to buy into this? A lot of Nigerians feel that this is also another attempt or side attempt by government to know what the youths are doing when it comes to the crypto space. Again, a lot of it leave much to be desired. We're only hoping that it will really get on proper wings, so that it's not another failed attempt like the e-Naira project. Now, stablecoins are used to minimize volatility. Because they are pegged to the dollar, I can decide to hold my money. For instance, if I earn a salary, let's say 1 million naira a month, when they pay me that salary, instead of keeping it in naira, maybe I'm thinking of buying a house in the US. Instead of keeping it in naira, I can, keep it in USDT, because at every point it is valued at dollar, right? What that does for me is that it maintains stability, right? I'm able to realize the value of that money at the current or going rate of the dollar. So if the dollar appreciates, it means I'm going to have, some kind of revaluation gain. If I eventually realize, that fund, I'm going to have some gain, from that my savings. Also, if I say, let me put it in Bitcoin or Ethereum, certain things can happen. If Trump opens his mouth today and say no more Bitcoin in US, the price of Bitcoin will fall to almost flat. So because people they don't want to take that risk, you see a lot of people using the stable coins as a sort of bridge between fiat currency and the blockchain world, and also a sort of getting stability for their investments or for their savings or for their money, actually. So that's about stablecoins. Now we'll talk about blockchain technology. The blockchain technology is a ledger system. So, but the difference is that it is transparent. If I'm doing any transaction on the blockchain today, everybody can see it. Everybody can see it. In fact, there is a site that you log in, you will see all transactions that happen on the block. It is called blockchain because it is made up of a block that are chained together. By the time you chain a block together, that's blockchain. So meaning that one transaction in block A will lead you to one transaction in block B, will lead you to one transaction in block C. So any attempt, you cannot say, let me alter block C. If you alter, for you to succeed, you have to go back to block A and alter it as well. And that is not possible because each block is built, we have a block every 10 minutes, right? For every 10 minutes, you have a block. Now, it means that in 1 hour, there are 6 blocks. So as transactions are happening, it is entering the block, it is entering the block, it is entering the block. And as you're making those transactions, they are what we call confirmations, nodes. So if you see a typical blockchain transaction, you will see 658 confirmations, meaning certain nodes have confirmed that yes, this transaction took place. Let me give you on a lighter note. You can see somebody, maybe let's say you have an instance where somebody says, I don't eat yam. Then all of a sudden, while you are passing, you now see the person eating yam. You just do chakam, that chakam part, that chakam thing that people do. That's the way nodes happen. So when transaction happens, there is a chakam along the way. So you can no longer say, no, I did not do it. You understand? Because almost 1,000 nodes had confirmed that this transaction took place. And this helps to secure and reduce the risk of manipulation or fraud. It is immutable, like I said. You can't change it, right? Whatever is in the block, it can be altered. There is a consensus mechanism, meaning that there is a way we validate transactions in the block. For Bitcoin, we call it proof of work, right? For Ethereum, we call it proof of stake. And in validating transactions, miners earn money. So for Bitcoin, for instance, and I think we'll go to that. For Bitcoin, they use a very complex, computer, a very complex machine. In mining, you are trying to say, okay, we built, let's say, block 10. We want to create block 11. Who will be able to get the mathematical equation that will give us block 11? So miners begin to solve. So the first person to get it correctly will earn a reward, right? Which is in Bitcoin. Now, that reward, he will not earn it automatically. He will earn it, during halving. That's what we call halving. Halving means when Bitcoin wants to give reward, and this reward happens every 4 years, right? A halving happens, meaning you earn a reward for mining. Okay. Now, for proof of stake in Ethereum, what they do is that you stake. You want to validate, so you stake. Let me give you an example. You have 10 account numbers, but only one account number is correct. You want to know which of them is correct, right? Or which of them bears someone's name. What do? You begin to throw in money. You say, okay, let me even send 5 naira to this one. Let me know who is the owner, right? So, in proof of stake, you are putting your money as well. So what happens is that the Ethereum network, right, would then select, people according to their stake, and then say who has been able to validate this particular block, and then that person earns a reward also. So that's the thing. Maybe just to point out that while Bitcoin has a limited supply of 21 million, BTC, Ethereum, there is no limit to the supply. However, how Ethereum creates a balance to also create artificial scarcity is through what we call burning gas fees. So for instance, when you are doing any transaction, you will suffer gas fee, right? Meaning, if I want to send you 30 naira, for instance, or 30 Ethereum, right? You will end up receiving maybe myself, I will end up paying 30.002. So that 002 is gas fee, right? And what it does is to help to reduce the supply of Ethereum in the market, so that it also builds some kind of artificial scarcity. That's the way this balance thing works. So I think I've been able to explain proof of work and the proof of stake. It's just, as we've discussed it, and there is nothing more. Now, how does blockchain work? I think I mentioned it that a blockchain, is the foundation is on blocks, and I mentioned also that there's what we call halving, meaning people that mine Bitcoin, they receive reward every 4 years, right? Now, and I mentioned also that a block is created every 10 minutes. Now, there are, for you to have a halving, you need to have created 210,000 blocks. Okay? What that means is that if a block is created every 10 minutes, it means in 1 hour, which is 60 minutes, you are creating 6 blocks. It means in a day, which is 24 hours, you'll be creating almost about, I think, 3,500 blocks. It means if you multiply that by a year, 356, you'll be having like about 50,000 or thereabout blocks. It then means that, or 54 rather, it then means that for you to have a halving, for miners to earn reward, it will take approximately about 4 years. So that is how we arrive at this thing. It's not theory. It's just, calculation. There are calculations to it. Now, like I was saying, right, 210,000 blocks must happen before a halving our miners will earn their reward. Then that block, if you have, it means you have 210,000 blocks. Now, what connects one block to the other is what we call hash, like a string. So that string is called what? Hash. When you perform a Bitcoin transaction, you are going to see something like, in the bank, we call it transaction ID. When you want to go and make a request, let's say you try to do with ATM withdrawal, and it was not successful, but you are debited, the bank will ask you to give us the transaction ID, meaning so that we can be able to verify or trace that activity, right? So that is what hash does. So hash is like the transaction ID for that particular transaction. Okay? But I know I just want to give us this overview. Then when we understand cryptocurrency very well, investing in cryptocurrency will become, it will become something you will understand better with clarity. Okay? Now, this is just separating what is blockchain, what is cryptocurrency, So I think a better way to also understand this is for you to think of blockchain as a digital notebook that everyone can view, but no one can erase or rewrite without everyone's agreement. Cryptocurrency is, for instance, Bitcoin was the first application of blockchain technology acting as a peer-to-peer. So crypto run on the blockchain. I don't know if you get me. So take it as, take it as blockchain is the infrastructure, the road. Cryptocurrency is the vehicle that that runs on that infrastructure. That's the way it is. Now, consensus mechanism. Blockchain uses consensus, meaning somebody must validate, and agree that these transactions are valid. Okay? Security, it is secure. Transparent, because everybody is seeing it. It is very, very open. Nobody can say, I did this, I did not do this. Then there is digital security, right? For instance, BTC, I said, is 21 million. That creates some kind of scarcity, which also helps to drive demand for crypto. Okay. Now, this is a very important concept because tomorrow when people say, I invested in crypto, I don't know how, I've lost access to my phone, I've lost this. This is the foundation. I want to talk about wallets, right? And then so that if you decide to invest today, you then know, okay, which decision should I take? Because everything indeed is in your hands. Now, what are wallets? If I ask you show me your wallet, you will bring out your purse. Your wallet, enable you to store your money, right? But in the world of crypto, a wallet is not a physical wallet. A wallet is not a bag. No. A wallet is your access to the blockchain. I told you that the blockchain is the infrastructure where crypto works. So crypto is the vehicle. Your access card to that vehicle is your wallet. Now, take your wallet as Access Bank account, Access Bank, GT Bank, Diamond Bank, they are all wallets. I can decide, I can decide to bank with this, I can decide to bank with this, I can decide to bank with this. Okay? Now, they come in various forms and serve the purpose of holding your private keys. I'm going to explain private keys in the next slide, allowing you to send and receive digital assets. Now, this is the breakdown. There are two forms of wallet. We have custodial wallets. We have non-custodial wallets. Now, what are custodial wallets? Custodial wallet is where a third party, especially an exchange, holds and manages the private keys on behalf of the user. This means that that exchange is in full control over your funds. Let me give you an example. I will use a very practical example, then I will use the real example in terms of crypto. When you go to your bank and say, please open an account for me, your bank, even though the account is your own, you can see your balance, you can see your money, you can withdraw it, but the bank controls it. The bank can decide to freeze your account today, and you cannot do anything. That is custodial. Okay? Same way in crypto. You can say, I don't have the energy, the risk to manage my wallet. Let me go to maybe Busha, maybe an exchange, Quidas, maybe an exchange, Yellow Card, maybe an exchange, Coinbase, maybe Binance. All those accounts you have with Binance, they are custodial wallets. Okay? Because they have control over it. Today, if some people lost their money when Binance left Nigeria, they were looking for, how can I get access to my crypto? Do you understand? So this is the risk. When you use a custodial wallet, you create an account with a service provider, such as an exchange. The provider then manages your private keys and your access to your wallet through their platform. Now, there is always a private key to every crypto. Because it runs on the blockchain, it must verify your identity before it grants you access. So when you come through a custodial wallet, they will just give you they will create an account, a sub-account for you under their own account and give you. What they will then allow you to do is for you to put your PIN and password. So that PIN and password becomes your asset. And if you lose that password or that PIN, you can contact the customer support and they will, ask you to recover your PIN. Now, on the other hand, the non-custodial wallet gives user complete control over their private keys. And that is why today, everybody can own a crypto, right? If you go to what's it called? Your iOS device, if you go to your App Store or Android, Google app, I hope I'm correct, for Android, you will be able to see Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Exodus, Electron. These are private wallets. You have total control over it, right? You can create it yourself. You don't need to go to any exchange. And from there, you can buy crypto from other people. Okay? You can sell crypto to other people. However, you will have your private keys to manage your phone. So that private key is more like, take it as, your password for you to retain control. In the other one, it is held by the exchange, but this one, you are the one holding it. Also, in that private key, you will be given something like a seed phrase that will enable you access your private key. I don't know how many of us have tried to access Chevening Scholarship recently. When you try to access it, in creating an account, they will give you something to memorize. Some group of 24 words. Maybe one of the words will be market. The other one will be maybe goat. That one will be, something like that. So you have to keep it safe. If you lose it, you cannot access it. So that's the way it works. Now, in this one, you create your own private and public keys, which are stored on your device. The wallet does not have access to these keys. Only the users have access to their funds. The user is responsible for backing up their private key and seed phrase and must take care of them to secure them from loss or theft. So that is the difference between custodial and non-custodial. So that when you want to embark on crypto journey today, you ask yourself, which one is better for me? Should I do custodial wallet? Should I do non-custodial wallet? But again, I've also been able to put something together so that you can evaluate this risk properly by looking at the advantage and the disadvantages. Now, for custodial wallet, it is convenient, easy to use, as the service provider handles key management, security, and recovery. If you lose your phone today, you go and query them, right? But in the other one, the disadvantage to this custodial is that since the provider holds your private keys, your funds are at risk if the provider is hacked or experience internal issues. If the provider is compromised, you may lose access to your phone. Let me give you an example, the Bybit. Bybit is a custodial wallet. You saw that, I don't know how many of us saw in the news that Bybit was hacked by a group known as the Lazarus Group. The Lazarus Group is based in North Korea. And I mentioned to you earlier that North Korea is a sanctioned entity. They don't care. Bring any money there, they will accept. So when the account was hacked, users, invariably will lose their funds. Binance today, when they were asked to leave Nigeria or when they left Nigeria, a lot of users were struggling. How do I get my money back? Also, I think Luno, there was a time Luno had an issue and people were struggling, what's really going on. For custodial also, backup and recovery, you can back up, but then you don't have control. That's a disadvantage. Now, custodial also come with added services, such as taking lending features. But, there is also a regulatory risk. They may be subject to regulation and the provider might require them to disclose your information or freeze funds under certain conditions. It then means that your anonymity, you can't anonymize, your identity is known if you are using a custodial wallet. Because the custodial wallet, before they accept you, they will ask you, give me KYC, give me this one, give me that one, give me this one. So they know you. So if law enforcement is asking them questions about you, they will just submit. For non-custodial, you have full control. The danger is responsibility is on you to secure your keys. The security is there as long as you store it very well. But again, if you lose it, there is no recovery. Your crypto is gone. Now, privacy. Non-custodial wallet gives you privacy because nobody knows who you are. Nobody collects your personal information. But then again, there is complexity. When you are setting up a private wallet, a non-custodial wallet, managing it for beginners require more understanding of how to manage your private keys. Okay, then there is another, we've talked about wallet and we broke down wallet into custodial and non-custodial. Now, under non-custodial, we have two types of wallets under non-custodial. Remember, I said non-custodial is managed by you. No exchange is involved. So under non-custodial, we have two types. We have the hot wallet and we have the cold wallet. Okay? Now, what is hot wallet? Hot wallet is that one that is hosted on the internet. Meaning that, once somebody can see that, this particular wallet address or this particular wallet is selling or is buying or is transacting, but they will not know who is the person because it's non-custodial. Okay? Now, but they will see it. But cold wallet is not hosted on the internet. They are offline. It can be stored on paper. It can be stored on hard drives, right? And all of that. Meaning nobody sees your activity. Now, they can only see your activity when you plug in or when you log in to the blockchain. So when you log into the blockchain, your activity becomes visible. When you log out, your activity is not visible. But for you to transact, you must come to the blockchain. So in one way or the other, you see cold wallet, have some interactions with hot wallet. Or at a point it will be hot, at a time it will be cold. So that's the way it works. And sometimes people that want a lot of privacy would like to have their cold wallet. They would like to do cold wallet, and intermittently they also come to the net to transact. Now, software wallets include Electrum, Bitcoin Core. You have the web wallet hosted, by Coinbase. We also have mobile wallets, and then for the code wallets, we have hardware wallets. Example: Nano, Trezor, Model T, KeepKey, and the rest of them. For paper wallet, we have the ones that are barcodes, scanned on QR codes, and all of that. So you can still send crypto to those, code wallets. Okay. So to also help you understand this wallet, So, I've mentioned certain things. I mentioned wallet, I mentioned public key, I mentioned seed phrase, I mentioned private key. Now, at the surface level is your wallet address. Your wallet address is the address people will send money to, right? For instance, for Bitcoin, they will start with 1 or 3, or sometimes BC1. For Ethereum, they will start with OX. So that when you see, crypto addresses, you will know whether it is Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's part of the things we are going to show here. The public key is, what then enables you to receive those funds into your wallet. While the seed phrase, which I call recovery phrase, they are consisting of 12 to 24 words. I mentioned it and I gave a particular example, like when you are trying to apply for Chevy, they will give you a recovery phrase, right? You have to remember those phrases or you write it down somewhere. And that's the only way, you can be able to, that's the only way you can be able to access your crypto. Then your private key, if you lose your private key, you've lost your crypto. Your crypto is gone forever. And it's not like anybody is going to take it. It's lost. It's lost to the thin air. Okay? Just to mention too, I mentioned that the founder of Bitcoin is Satoshi, right? Currently in his Bitcoin wallet, he has over 1 million BTC that has not moved anywhere. Like, it's possible he must have lost his private key. So those Bitcoin is lost forever, 1 million BTC. Just imagine, they give you even half of that. That's about 500,000 BTC. Bill Gates will not see your bag. So, but let's continue. All right. This is just, an illustration of the seed phrase and all of that. I think I will explain this better. The private key is the way you prove your identity. Example, your email account password. Address is the way you share your identity with the world. Example, your email address. Okay? Then public key. The private key produces the digital signature which encrypts the message. Public key decrypts this message sent with encrypted message for others to check validity of the signature. Now, I'll proceed to types of cryptocurrency addresses. I mentioned we are starting with the Bitcoin. The reason why I'm saying this is, if you start trading in Bitcoin today, or if you see a Bitcoin address today, you should be able to say, oh, this is Bitcoin, this is Ethereum, this is Polkadot, this is apps, this is that. The only way you can say that is by their address. Let me put it this way. When you are traveling to a foreign land, the only way you can say I'm in this place is either through your Google map or through the address on the signboard. So you see, it is very important because it helps you know the identity of what you're doing, or it helps you know what you're doing better. Now, in Bitcoin, there are 3 major addresses. There's a 4th one, but the 3 major ones are what you call the pay to public key hash, right? It's called P2PKH. Now, that was the first, Bitcoin address to ever exist. They start with the word 1. When you see any crypto address starting with 1, it is what? Bitcoin. You don't need anybody to tell you that this is Bitcoin. Okay? And they are always in capital letter. If you check all of them, they will be they are always in capital letter. The second one that came on board after that is the pay to script hash. They are also in capital letters, right? They start with 3. So when you see crypto addresses starting with 3, it is Bitcoin. And you should be able to know the address, generation. So it's from the P2SH. When you see a Bitcoin a crypto address starting with BC1, it is a Bitcoin under the batch 32 generation addresses. Now, they can be small or capital letters. They start with BC1. We have another one that starts with Q, right? But these 3 are the more common ones that you are going to see. All right. Now, I look at other cryptocurrencies and their address, how you recognize them. The Litecoin, Litecoin, you will see LTC1. When you see LTC1, know that it is what? Litecoin. So the classification, they are called payment tokens because they enable people to make payments. We have the Bitcoin Cash, which starts with Q or P. Okay? We have the Dash. Dash starts with X. We have Ripple, which starts with R. We have Stellar, which starts with G. We have meme coins. Meme coins are worthless coins. They are meant to, to generate fun, right? But a lot of people, there's a lot of abuse in these meme coins. And you need to be careful because what some people go and buy and they say, I have 2 million crypto, is they are buying meme coins. For instance, there was a time Sabinus brought one. There was a time Davido brought one. There is Trump coin. Those things are meme, they are worthless, right? People just use them to create fun. But sometimes too, like play, the thing catches fire and people begin to, buy into them. And crypto works on the basis of demand and supply. Once it catches fire and people begin to, buy into it, it will appreciate, the value will appreciate. And that was what happened with Dogecoin. Because in Dogecoin, I think it was Elon Musk that kind of popularized Dogecoin. That people say, if Elon Musk is there, that means it is correct. So a lot of people started buying it. And today, the value of Dogecoin is over, I think it's over $300 or so. I don't know. I may not be correct. But, it has created there are a lot of noise around it and people have seen it as a coin these days. So it starts with the letter D. We have the utility token. Utility token means that they are not used for their own gain. Like they help to create further value. So we have Ethereum. So we have the ERC, that's the Ethereum addresses. They start with OX. If you're able to know these addresses, how they start, I am sure you will name all crypto addresses. When you see any transaction, you say this is a Dogecoin. You say this is an Ethereum. You say this is a Solana, right? Now, we have the VeChain, we have the Tron, we have Polkadot, we have Algorand, and we have governance tokens. They are used for, sometimes people use them to cast a vote, and all of that. They allow users to contribute towards the administration and governance of the token. We have the Tezos. We have privacy token. This privacy token, when people do transaction, you will not see that transaction. So a lot of money launderers like to use Zcash and Monero because you can't see them on the blockchain, but they are there, but you can't see them. So they are called privacy token. So we have Zcash, but if perchance you see it start with T1 for Zcash or 13. Monero, it starts with 4. So why people were able to see it at some point is because there was a time they had a kind of glitch and people were able to say, this is a new coin, and they trace it to Zcash. We have the non-fungible token, which is NFT. NFTs are, meant to be, how do I put it? It's more like, somebody's artwork. I can create an artwork today and say the value of this artwork is 30 million or 30 billion. If another person believes that, yes, the value of this artwork is 30 billion, you can create an NFT, on that, and people begin to buy into it. It becomes, a security. It becomes a security or an NFT. We have exchange tokens. These ones are, managed by exchanges. For instance, Binance, they have their own coin, which is called BNB. I know some of us that trade crypto, you see it. You will see that you normally start with, the BB20. We have asset tokens like the Tether Gold. Tether Gold they are pegged to the gold, right? So sometimes they run on ERC, that's on Ethereum, they run on Tron network, and all of that. Okay. I don't know if I'll be taking us further, but I just want to briefly talk about change and clusters. It is very, 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 very important because part of what we are also going to look at is how do you earn legitimate funds using crypto. One of those ways is that you can be like what I'm doing. You can, teach crypto to other people. You can also, develop a career in compliance space, for crypto. In that case, it means that, you are teaching people or you are helping to stop the misuse of crypto for money laundering. Okay? Now, but you can't do all of these things if you don't even understand what happens when transactions happen in crypto. Now, if I say what is change, somebody will tell me that change is when you buy something, they will give you change. Of course, it's not totally different from crypto. But what happens in crypto is that if I have 2 BTC today, and I'm sending 1.5 BTC to someone, right? What will happen is, rather than me sending 1.5, I will send the entire 2 BTC I have. That's the way Bitcoin works. You will send the entire 2 Bitcoin, and then 0.5 will return back to me via another address. That 0.5 that is returning back to me is what we call change. I don't know if it is clear. So we say in Bitcoin that it works on the U2SO model. The U2SO model means unspent transaction output. That's what it means. Now, unlike your bank, where if I have 200,000 in my bank and somebody is asking me for 50,000, I will just impute 50,000 and the money will go. Okay, that's for bank. But in crypto, the way it works is that you will send all the 200,000. The person will only get 50. 150 will return back to you via another address, meaning that automatically I now have 2 addresses. The one I use in sending 200,000 and the one I use in receiving my 150,000 change. If I do another transaction of 20,000, the same thing will happen. The whole 150 will go. 130 will come back to me as change. It means I now have 4 addresses, right? So that's change. And that is what then leads us to do what? To cluster. In clustering, what we are trying to do is we are trying to identify all the different addresses that belong to the same entity. Let me give you an example. If company ABC, is using Bitcoin to make payments, right? It means that in a month, they are likely to have over 300 addresses because, they are doing a lot. And, as they send, they get change via another address. Now, what blockchain experts do is that they would then identify all these addresses and name and label them and say, this is company ABC. So anywhere company ABC makes transaction, right, it will be identified as company ABC for identification purpose. So that's the long and short of the entire thing you see here on change and cluster. But we are going to take some practical examples to make it more relatable. Is this just what I said? You see, I know there is a common phrase going on now. Some people say they are Nepo, some others say they are Lapo, right? So Nepo, Nepo is a big boy, a big lady. She's sending 3 BTC to Lapo. However, Nepo has 10 BTC. You see, Lapo will get the 3 BTC, while 7 BTC change will come back to Nepo as change. So that's just what I just discussed, and that's what it is actually. Okay, moderator, I don't know if there is any question, but if there is none, I'll move on. Then also in clustering, so what they've done is to identify all of these things and say all of these addresses belong to Nepo, and that's it. So I've talked about clusters. Why do clusters matter? It helps us to loosen out privacy, right? It also helps us to track illicit funds. It's used for regulatory compliance purposes. How do we identify a cluster? We identify a cluster because, of who, using certain qualities. And these qualities, I will divide them into 3. We have the multi-input heuristic, we have the change address identification, and we have the behavioral patterns. For multi-input heuristic, what we do is, for instance, if Nepo sends 1 BTC using 3 different inputs, 0.3, 0.4, 0. These 3 addresses are linked in a cluster. So what I mean is, so for instance, if you have 3 Bitcoin, but those 3 Bitcoin, remember, you have changes, in your account. Maybe those changes, they are coming through addresses 0.3, 0. But you want to send 1 BTC, for instance. So if the chances that you are the owner of the 3, because it is there, because the 3 you want to send altogether will not be, or individually will not be equal to the amount you want to send. Let me make an example with Naira. I have 1 Naira. Okay, but that 1 naira, I don't have it as a whole. I have 3 kobo, 4 kobo, 3 kobo, but I want to send 1 naira to another person. You know the way it will go, everything will go, and no change will come back to me, for instance. Okay, now the chances that I own those 3 is there. So from there, they can say all of them belongs to me. Now, we also use sophisticated tools to identify output, right? Which is the change address identification, and then pattern, timing, address reuse, the likelihood of me using an address that I've used before for another transaction. We also use it to be able to cluster an address to say this address belongs to this entity. Okay, so this is just something we try to do just to showcase what that means. So if you see here, this is the sending cluster. What address is this? 18. Who can tell me? And what version of Bitcoin this thing is that? Please feel free to lend your voice. 18. Which crypto is this one? Who can tell me? This is the pay to public key hash, and the amount that is being sent is 1, because that's the person has only 1 BTC. Now the person sent 0.98. So that's the way you will see it. If I do 1 transaction, you will see 2 legs. I don't know if you get my point. Unlike the regular accounting transaction where you have for every debit there's a corresponding credit. No, for every debit there are 2 corresponding credits. That's the way it works in the Bitcoin world. So because unless where you are sending the exact amount, and you cannot even send the exact amount, because there will be some little charge that will happen. Now you see that in this transaction, you see the amount being sent. So which one is changed? Which one is? Who can tell me? Is it the first one or the second one? Please feel free to lend your voice. Which one is the change?
The second one.
Why? Why is it the second one?
It looks smaller.
It looks smaller, correct. So that's a reason. The second reason is that you see that the receiving cluster, one of them has been identified as BitPay, right? So meaning he sent, if you browse BitPay, you will see what BitPay is. Perhaps you wanted to buy something, right? So the likelihood of that identified cluster or that identified address not being himself is almost 100%. I don't know if you get my point. That's 1. 2 as well. If you look at the nature of the address, you see that the sending address has 2 numerals before an alphabet. If you look at the 2 transactions, you see that one has 2 numerals, while one has 1 numeral, 1 alphabet. So the likelihood of the first one, which has 2 numerals also being his own, is high. I don't know if it is clear. So this will be very helpful for people that are tracing crypto. If you are an investigator, for instance, and you want to see where has this money gone, the danger is if you leave the person. For instance, if I leave to trace BitPay and I'm tracing this 1-4, it means I'm tracing back the person. I'm going back. I'm not making progress. I'm no longer following the money. I don't know if it is clear. Okay. So and this is just a practical example of how some of these things work. Now, when you are tracing, right, you may come across, there's what called graph symbology. You may come across some of these symbols and what they mean. So if you have 0 like this, that is dark, especially when you are using the Chainalysis reactor, this means that there is no balance. The account has a 0 balance. So there is no need for showing it. If you see gray, it means non-zero balance. It means there is a balance, but it is insignificant. If you see white, right, and we are going to do a practical example, okay? If you see white, what it means is that there is plenty crypto in that address. If you see yellow, it means that it means that, from the last time you visited, a new transaction has occurred. If you see this, it means there is an intel or adverse media, or not really adverse media, there is an open source information regarding that address. If you see this, it means that the address has been identified, or the cluster, okay, and all of that. So all of them means several things. All right, so exposure charts. So this helps you identify, are you dealing with a fraud shop? Are we dealing with an ATM dark market? Are you dealing with, mining pool and all of that? So this is, I would say, I'm happy to explain this, in further details if you have another session. All right. So with that, I will go to Ponzi scheme. I don't know if there is a question before I move to Ponzi scheme, or I can take the question at the end of the session. I'm also, a little bit mindful of our time. All right. So Ponzi scheme. I know a lot of us know a lot about Ponzi scheme, and we say, nothing, not me. A lot people can easily say, it can never happen to me. But the truth is, it has happened to a lot of people, right? So, what is Ponzi? Now, you see, traditional fraud schemes has evolved. And I will give you an example. I saw a message yesterday. They said that someone came to somewhere in Edo State, right? I don't know how many of us saw that thing on Facebook. The man brought 50 kg of rice and said he's doing auction from custom and he's selling it for 20,000. Foreign rice. People were buying, rushing to buy. Within 10 minutes, the man has cleared the sales. The man then collected money from people that if you don't pay in advance, you will not be part of the new one he's bringing, right? So a lot of people, almost 1,000 people gave him 20,000. That is 20 million. And the man ran away. Nobody heard anything about him again. So you see, these things, they happen. The core principles remain the same. The digital era has made scams even more sophisticated. All right. So how it happens? Number one, they exploit trust. Number two, they create a sense of urgency. And three, they manipulate human nature. Human nature is doubtful. So what do? They give you a bait, like the bag of rice issue I mentioned. So once you've seen that, I bought, people will tend to, buy into it. Why smart people stay for? Because some people will say, I be smart guy. Don't forget I'm a street guy. Forget, this, I'm a sharp guy. But then, sharp guys are the biggest victims of scams. Now, overconfidence bias. Smart people believe that they are too smart to be deceived, which leads them to ignore red flags. Number two, they trust in referral. They rely on recommendation from influencers, friends, family, without independent checks. I know there was a time people were saying, let's do this, because there is an influencer that is supporting it. I remember the case of, there was a particular thing, people started looking for, the influencers that were marketing those products. 3, false sense of urgency. They will tell you, if you don't do it today, the opportunity will be lost. And then smart people rush into it because, they claim to be smart investors. Number 4 is confirmation bias. They focus on information that supports what they want to believe and ignore warning signals. Now, in the rice issue I mentioned, because they've seen someone who bought the rice for 20,000, they fail to ask the question, how is this person able to do it? Rice is at least 55,000. How is he doing it? And they fall into that scam. The other one is appeal to authority. Because it comes from persons with perceived power or credibility. I'll give you an example. I talk about Shiba. I don't know how many of us know about Shiba. People say pump it, Trump coin and all of that. So people tend to fall into those kind of pitfalls, those kind of holes. Now, what are the common modern day scams? Number 1, they will say they are into agribusiness, farming scam. That because people, especially civil servants, because they say, it's only farming I can do. And somebody is telling you, bring money, we are going to put it in agriculture. Because they've mentioned agriculture, you will say, yes, it's true, at least there is a product. Because smart people, sometimes they know that scams, normally, the original idea is that there is no product they are selling. They see agri, they say, they will tell you, we are farming in Benue. They will mention one other state that you know that they have large array of land, and then you tend to believe it. And examples of some of the scams that have happened, companies that have defrauded people. We have Agro Partnership Tech, we have FarmFort, we have FarmBuddy, we have 360 Agri Partners Limited. They did this by promising high returns. The second one is loan scams. They will tell you, we'll give you loan. But before you give the loan, you deposit this money. At the end of the day, you will not see anything. Sometimes they promise you higher interest rate and you will not see. Examples of notable ones are Hand Credit Loan App, Wealth App, WealthPay, Get Cash, and Cashco. So we put some of these names so that you can be able to put a face to these people. We are not just theorizing. We are just giving you the practical examples of how some of these things happen. The third one is the BEC scams. BEC is business email compromise, right? Somebody can be responding to your email and you think that it is your boss, but it's not your boss. The advanced part of this is what we call deepfake. Deepfake, somebody will make a video as I'm making. You will think I'm the one, but I'm not the one, right? So some of these things happen. The fourth one is investment scams. They lure your victims with high returns. An example, and these ones typically happen, using crypto. We have the CBES scam. I don't know how many of us, lost their money, through the CBES scam. We have AQM Capital Limited, Wise Kingdom Capital, Bedsider Group of Companies, MBA. How many of you know about MBA Forest? That a lot of people lost their money. Even up to today, they've not been able to get it. So these are, some of the issues that we have when we talk of some of these scams. The fifth one, which is very, which is happening now, is real estate scam. Somebody will tell you, real estate, are you not supposed to do real estate when you pay money? At least there is a land for you or something. They will tell you, no, you have return investment. In fact, they will tell you that the owner is, what's that word now? The owner is in distress sale. The owner wants to close today. The owner wants to do this. The owner wants to do that. Please, let us beware. Okay? Example of them are Damakin Investment, Oxford, Brickwall. There is even one recently that people are accusing, one popular real estate, that they are doing scam. And I think the Securities and Exchange Commission made a publication on that. So the essence of this is so that, we don't think we are overly smart and then we still fall prey to those scams that we talk about all the time. What are those red flags to watch? High rate of return. There is no legitimate investment that can provide unrealistic profits within a short time. That's the truth. The second one, pressure to act quickly. Please take it easy. When they try to pressure you to make decisions, please take it easy. When you hear certain word, limited time offer, refer to get bonus, these things are red flags. Okay? Request for personal or financial information. Please be suspicious of unsolicited messages or calls asking for your bank details or PIN. Legitimate institutions will not ask for sensitive information through insecure channels. The other one is unclear or complex business model. If you cannot easily explain how the investment works or where the money goes, that is a red flag. Avoid schemes with vague structure or without proper documentation. The other one is lack of verifiable credentials. Fraudsters may fake company names like fake website or forged certificate. Always verify registrations with financial authorities, such as SEC. If you are in Nigeria, if you are in Ghana, you can go to Bank of Ghana, you can go to CAC, Registry of Companies before investing. Now, don't get caught. What are those simple ways to stay safe? Avoid unnecessary pressure. Avoid the act now. Rush and do not make any decision in the moment. Take all the time you need. Ask questions and avoid secrecy. Some people, when they see those investments, they hide it to themselves because they don't want their neighbor or their friend to know what they are doing. But again, when you want to cry, you then call your friend and begin to explain everything. Ensure proper documentation are maintained. Even if it is land investment, please ensure proper documentation. Seek professional advice. If you want to invest in crypto, for instance, please talk to someone that understands crypto very well. That's the only way you can be out, you can be safe from scams. Do not be greedy and set a risk threshold. Please, when you see those high returns on investment, always be wary about them. What are my closing thoughts? Cryptocurrency has come to stay, and crypto fraud and Ponzi is not a distant threat. It is happening now. Those that stay ahead will be those that embrace innovation while remaining vigilant like the eagle. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is a Ponzi. In the world of cryptocurrency, always distinguish innovation from illusion. Real investment offer transparency, risk, and returns, while Ponzi schemes disguise deceit as opportunity. Do your due diligence, not just your deposit. So, in terms of investment, you can buy cryptocurrency. I will advise, if you're a beginner, start with a custodial wallet, meaning go to an exchange, a viable exchange. Buy crypto. You can buy USDT. You can start with a stable coin because at least the value of your money is there. Then gradually you can say, okay, let me buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, so that if there is appreciation in the worth of Bitcoin, right, you will be able to gain from it. But don't put two legs at once. That's what I would advise. Secondly, you can read up material, watch YouTube videos to gain more knowledge and expert knowledge about cryptocurrency, so that even you can then be in that space to be able to teach other people. A lot of people make a lot of money using crypto. The average salary for crypto companies is about $3,000 a month. So imagine if you are earning $3,000 a month, and most of those opportunities, I would say, they are all remote opportunities, meaning you work from your home. You will be earning, you'll be earning while doing a legitimate job, and also expanding your knowledge base as well. The fourth one I would advise is, you can easily go into things like investigation of crypto. And there is a site I will give you. If you go to breadcrumb, just search breadcrumb, normal bread and crumb together. That site, just sign up. You can use it to investigate any crypto.